Welcome to the first episode of the Sly 3 speedrun tutorial series. This is a collaborative effort presented by WebMAN12, Mapiotho, Knuutti and myself, made with the intention of equipping you with everything you need to start speedrunning this game. The main focus is gonna be the any percent category, as well as the respective episode runs available for this game. This video will cover everything you need to know before starting to learn runs, including but not limited to what the rules are for running the game, version differences, console setup, and even a custom practice tool. I'm IceN, I'm the lead in this project, and I'll be narrating this first video. Enjoy. Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves has a lot of categories. For full game, there's any percent and 100%. There's also separate categories for each of the game's 6 episodes. Every Master Thief challenge will build in timer as well, and also a handful of category extensions. This series is gonna cover how to do any percent, as well as every episode run and any additional information you might need to complete these categories. In order for a run to get verified, it needs to be played on an official release of the game or on one specific emulator, which will be covered later in the video. Overall, Sly 3 has 2 versions with regional variants. The original PS2 release is available for PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, with the remaster releasing on PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita and PlayStation Now. The original and remastered versions of the game are largely the same in terms of gameplay, with minute differences such as resolution and certain tricks being version specific. The optimal setup for speedrunning is the digital download of the PAL remaster, not the disc version, played on a PlayStation 3. However, not all PS3s are created equal. The best PS3 models are the early versions of the fat consoles. On the barcode on the back of the system and on the bottom, you'll see a version label, starting with CECH followed by another letter, ending with some numbers. The extra letter marks your specific console version. I personally run on a G model, which can be seen here. If the letter is between A and K alphabetically, you have an optimal console that's gonna give you the best load times and reset times. These load and reset times can be further improved by several seconds by replacing the console's built-in hard drive with any SATA SSD. If you don't have a console, emulators are a great way to see if you like the speedrun before you make any investments in hardware. Historically, emulators have been banned across speedruns for Sly 2 and Sly 3. This is because of the massive advantage they have over official hardware, with resets for example. About 2 years ago, the emulator RPCS3 was legalized in a permitted format. Your run is considered legal if you have the performance overlay enabled, your frame rate stays consistent throughout the game, and the final time of your run is over 110% of the duration of the current world record. I'll leave a link below to a spreadsheet detailing the current timegate for every category. For specific details, I recommend visiting speedrun.com, navigating to the game page, and reading the emulator requirements for yourself under the Rules tab. Sly 3 comes in multiple languages and is one of the only speed games where it's optimal to use multiple languages throughout a single run. For example, an any percent run starts in Dutch and is kept so until the start of episode 3, where we swap to Norwegian and stay there until we complete the Talk of Pirates in episode 5. Then we go back to Dutch and stay there for the rest of the run. Throughout Sly 3, several gadgets are needed to progress the story. Additionally, many gadgets save meaningful amounts of time throughout the run. Knowing how many coins you need at what points in the run and how to get them is crucial to a good run. Any% currently has 2 coin routes seen as viable. These two are largely the same, with the only difference being when you acquire the Bentley gadget, Hover Pack. On average, the early Hover Pack route is the slightest bit faster, but is more reliant on money from random guard loots, while late Hover Pack is more consistent but slightly slower. I'll explain how every run progresses and where the coin routes deviate in any%. The first visit to ThiefNet comes before leaving the safe house for the job Tarball, where we'll need 400 coins to buy the gadget Adrenaline Bursts for Bentley. After this, the coin route splits. The early Hover Pack route requires us to gather 700 coins before leaving the safe house for the job Beauty and the Beast. Here we'll buy Hover Pack and Grapple Cam for Bentley. After this, we gather at least 1100 coins during the job Giant Wolf Massacre with the Infinite Money Glitch, or IMG for short. This is to buy the following Sly gadgets: Paraglider, Rocket Boots and Push Attack level 1. How we gather those coins will be explained in the Giant Wolf Massacre video. The late Hover Pack route requires us to only gather 400 coins before leaving the safe house for Beauty and the Beast, where we just buy Grapple Cam. Later on, when doing the IMG, we gather at least 1400 coins, the extra 300 going towards buying Hover Pack. This also requires a slight route change, which we will get into later during the series. Generally, the early Hover Pack route is regarded as being slightly faster, but it really comes down to personal preference. After this, the routes reunite and continue identically. The fourth ThiefNet visit comes before leaving the safe house for the Talker Pirates, where we need 400 coins to buy Silent Obliteration for Sly. Lastly, we visit ThiefNet before the job Deep Sea Danger to buy the Sly gadget Feral Pounds for 1000 coins. Alright, let's talk about console settings. Optimizing your console setup is very important for saving time on resets. A general rule of thumb is the less stuff you have on your PS3, the faster your resets are gonna be, so try to minimize extra games, profiles, videos, and so on. The first thing you want to look at is your profiles. I have 5, I use them for 2 episodes each, as that's the max you can have on one. I also have a profile for MTCs and full game runs, respectively. Let's talk about settings. The Sly games adapt to your console's language. To change it, go to System Settings, System Language, and swap to either Norsk or Nederlandsk for Norwegian and Dutch respectively, or whichever language you prefer to run in. Secondly, you want to go to Theme Settings, make sure everything is set to Original or Default. Lastly, you want to go to Display Settings, head to Video Output, choose your preferred output source, click Custom, and choose 720p. This saves time over 1080p, as the Sly games run in 720p and the system would have to swap back and forth between the resolutions each time you reset otherwise. For a more thorough explanation, check out Remo's PS3 optimization tutorial linked in the description. Next up, let's talk about save file setup. I'm gonna use my profile for running episodes 1 and 2 as an example. So while you're on the title screen, you want to press select to bring up the menu. Then head to load game, and here you can see the 3 save slots each profile has. The top file is considered your run file, while the 2 bottom ones are anchor files. They're files saved right before a run will start. Every time you reset, you would load up your anchor file and save it to the run file. As previously mentioned, every individual episode in this game has its own leaderboard, which is a nice break from the multi-hour marathon that is any%. What sets episode runs apart from being glorified any% segments is the use of additional gadgets. For every episode, you're allowed to start the run with any gadget that would be available in ThiefNet before the run starts. You're allowed to buy gadgets that become available later in the episode only if you've collected the required coins during the run itself. For episode 1, we buy both available gadgets, Smoke Bomb for Sly and Bentley's alarm clock. The total gadget cost is 400 coins. You're allowed to leave the safe house to farm coins, buy the gadgets and save your game before starting your run. This is not the case for every episode, so keep that in mind. Another important note for this episode is that you're not allowed to have any gadgets equipped before starting the episode. This must be done during the run. From here on, you're allowed to have any gadget equipped before starting your run. Just like in episode 1, you can leave the safe house and grind for coins here before starting your run. For episode 2, if you want to be optimal, it is recommended to buy Berserker Charge for Mary, Adrenaline Burst for Bentley, Knockout Dive and Push Attack level 1 for Sly. The total gadget cost is 1600 coins. You're also required to have the Venice disguise obtained. Your run will be rejected if you never get your cursor over where the disguise would be in the gadget grid. This goes for every upcoming episode. Exiting the hideout in episode 3 leads directly into a job, so grinding for coins in the hub is not recommended, but possible if you exit the job before completing it. For episode 3, Murray gets no additional gadgets. We buy Hover Pack for Bentley and Jump Attack, Rocket Boots and Paraglider for Sly. The total gadget cost is 3200 coins. When exiting the hideout for the first time, in episode 4, a small title card will appear at the bottom of the screen. This card must be there when starting a run. Because of this, you cannot grind for coins in the hub area. For episode 4, Mary once again gets no additional gadgets. Bentley gets Grapple Cam, and surprisingly enough, Sly doesn't get any additional gadgets either. The total gadget cost is 3600 coins. Episode 5 has the same small title card as episode 4, meaning you cannot grind for coins in the hub. If you've left the hideout prior to starting your run, Sly will have a job availability hologram above his head in the hideout. This hologram must not be there before starting your run. Due to a recent skip discovery, you are not required to have the photographer disguise from episode 4 for this run. Murray once again gets no additional gadgets, neither does Bentley. Sly, however, pounds, Shadow Power level 1 and Shadow Power level 2. The total gadget cost is 7600 coins. Episode 6 doesn't have a hub to loot from, so... If you can believe it, we actually buy gadgets for Murray this time. He gets Raging Inferno Flop and Diablo Fire Slam. Bentley gets no additional gadgets and Sly gets Thief Reflexes. The total gadget cost is 11,400 coins.
But IceN, that's a lot of money, and looting takes a long time. How am I gonna get that many coins? Well, the fastest option is gonna be using SluMAN, which you'll be hearing about in a bit. But if you don't have access to SluMAN, here's the old school way of doing it. Pause the game and type in the cheat code to warp to your desired episode, then pause the game and type in the temporarily unlock all jobs code. Once you've done that, head to episode 5 and play the Master Thief Challenge, Last Ship Sailing. Here you can farm ships for big payouts until you have what you need. Just make sure you exit to the main menu before you die, otherwise your save file will have it marked displayed, which messes with some stuff. Then head back to your desired episode, buy your stuff and save.
Hello, my name is Knuutti and I'm one of the co-authors of this tutorial series, as well as the lead developer behind SluMAN. SluMAN is a speedrun slash practice tool designed for the PlayStation 3 versions of the Sly games, and with SluMAN you can more efficiently practice the speedruns on your PS3. What you need for SluMAN is a modded PS3 with either custom or hybrid firmware and a WebMAN mod installed. You can also use SluMAN with the PS3 emulator or PCS3 if you want to. It works in both ways. Here I can, for example, I have the practice mode of Sly 3 opened, and you can see here there's a couple of nice functionalities. For example, if I want to load some individual jobs, for example, I don't know, I go to Operation Wedding Crasher and I want to protect the vases, I can just load there instantly. I don't need to play the entire episode all over again to practice that. You can also go to individual job maps. Maybe, for example, I can go to just Cooper Gang Hangar and mess around there if I want to. Some other nice functionalities in the practice modes are skip cinematic button, which helps you go through the cinematics and FMVs faster. And you can also edit your gadget layout if you want to set up some massive challenge run files, for example, and want to have specific gadgets. And you can also have an input display, which is also a very nice functionality to have. In addition to the practice mode, SluMAN also comes with the speedrun mode, which you can use during your speedruns to have an auto splitter, input display, and you can also use it to load run files and set up gadgets for your run files. So here I can, for example, I can get my input display, have it on during my run, then I just toggle the auto splitter and add an auto splitter file to my live split, and I don't need to split anymore. You can also, let's say you're starting out and you want to set up an episode 5 file. Well, you just open SluMAN, select episode 5 and click load, and it will set it up for you. So if you want to get started with SluMAN, just head to the video description where you can find a download link in a GitHub page, which gets you started with the tool. If you need help with setting up the SluMAN or have any questions, you are free to ask in the Sly Cooper speedrunning Discord, as well as in the SluMAN development server, which you're free to join if you're more interested about the development process of the tool. That is it about SluMAN. Now let's get back to IceN.
So, that was the first video of the series. It's been a long time on the way. I've been working on it on and off since about September. It's been daunting having to learn editing software from scratch. But I'm happy with how it turned out. But we're just getting started. Many more videos to come. So let's see how it goes. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you around.